offense spreading the whole field like that? I mean, did you say you haven't seen that?
I don't think I've seen anyone split from sideline to sideline.
Right, right.
I've seen people take max splits. Max splits usually about 5 yards from the sideline.
Okay.
Because if you release, you're out of bounds already.
Right.
You know, so it really doesn't give you, but now if you had 53 yards to cover, okay, that means that they've really spread out your defense as much as you could possibly spread it out. Now, usually the game's played in here. Okay, it's not usually played from here to here, so it's kind of unique.
Can it play to your advantage in any way? I mean,
They're scoring 44 points a game. I don't know how that could play to anyone's advantage. You know, scoring points is not the problem. I mean, this team, the only reason they've lost games is turnovers. They won the first 3 games, okay, scoring a bunch of points. They lost the last 4 games. In the first 3 games, they turned the ball over once. In the last 4 games, they've turned it over 16 times. The 2 games that they gave up, they only scored 21 points. They turned it over 6 in one and 4 in the other. Okay, so realistically, it wasn't because anyone's really shut them down. It's because they turned it over. And if we're going to have a chance to win, we're going to need turnovers.
About how tough it is to be a defensive coordinator in this league, but what's this year been like for Campo, having to scheme against offenses like this?
Well, he's already past that gray hair stage, so I think he's bypassed that one. But I think that he, he's found this, he really loves the game of football, and I think that I can't say he's enjoyed having to go against these defenses every week, but it really challenges you. It really challenges you to try to take your players and what they can do and try to figure out the best way to minimize what they do. It's a challenge.
Does it take a special kind of coach to want to take that on?
No, I mean, any coach wants to take challenges on. I mean, that's why we do this.
You guys spend so much time together as coaches. He seems like he'd wear well. Do you enjoy spending time with him?
Yeah, he's got a unique personality. He's got that northeastern Connecticut personality. That I've seen 1,000 times. I've seen a lot of Dave Campos in my lifetime. You guys might not have, okay, but where I grew up, I've seen a lot of guys just like him. So I'm very familiar with his personality.
What's the biggest change you think he's brought to the defense this
Pardon
year?
me?
What do you think is the biggest change he's brought to the defense this year?
Well, first of all, I wasn't here before, so let me just say what I think he's brought to the defense. I think that his knowledge of the game and has earned respect by the players, and I think he's a very good teacher. So, I mean, you're not looking to be buddy-buddy with the players. You just want the players, they know that he knows what he's doing, okay, and he's fair with them, and he's a good teacher, so therefore they all respect him.
How's Damon's health right now? Damon Patterson, do you expect him to be able to go to this?
He'll be back this week.
We'll see
how it goes. I don't. He hadn't played in a few weeks, so let's see how rusty he is, and we'll work him back in. We'll work him back in today. But I couldn't render a guess to what packages he'd be in or what he would be in at this point right now until after I see him out there.
When he's healthy, what kind of an impact how can he help that receiving group or the passing game as a whole?
Well, he's one of the most experienced guys you have. So experienced guys kind of know the tricks of the trade. Like how to get open versus press coverage. There's things that young guys see. A lot of young guys come in high school. No one ever pressed them. No one ever played. They're never on them in press coverage. They're always off of them. So they're always running free all the time. Now all of a sudden you get somebody who's bigger, faster, and stronger than you when you first come in, jamming you at the line of scrimmage. And it's a rude awakening until after you have to learn the tricks of the trade of how to go ahead and get off the line of scrimmage.
When you look at the way your defenses perform on the road versus at home, is the biggest explanation just the opponents who played on the road?
Well, I mean, you played K-State on the road, played Oklahoma on the road, and Northern Illinois the last time I checked, they're not doing too badly either, I don't think. I mean, they're lighting it up on offense too. I think that, I just think that, you know, every week is a different set of circumstances. I mean, we might go there this week and play great on offense, or we might play great on defense, or might not we might play bad on either side. I really couldn't tell you yet. But I know that every coach that's game planning, when you go on the road, you game plan no different. It's not like all of a sudden you say, okay, we're going on the road now, we have to do this different. You don't do anything different. The only factor that's different is who has to deal with the noise. Because when you go on the road, the offense has to deal with the noise. When you're playing at home, the defense has to deal with the noise. Because you need to have nonverbal communication on your signals in case the crowd's loud enough where you can't hear. That's really the only difference.
With Christian Matthews, what point did you realize that you have this kind of multi-dimensional weapon like he is?
Well, he played Wildcat quarterback here last year. You know, so I did go back and watch the tapes, and saw what, that he had an ability to do that. And we, as the year went on, we were looking for more ways to do things. Injuries dictate some of the things you do, and all of a sudden you're trying to find, new ways to get things done. And Christian has a knack to be involved in that capacity, which, he'll continue to be a receiver that will also be involved in that capacity.
Hey, Coach, is Tobin feeling okay? You're worried
Yeah,
about him?
I think that Tobin should be in good shape. The other one I was waiting on, but Jake Love did pass his concussion test. I was a little bit worried about that one too, but I haven't heard back. I just know he passed his concussion test now. He might still be a little, because he was pretty woozy there for a couple of days. But when I heard that this morning, that usually means that within the next, either by practice today, he was still getting checked by the doctors here at lunchtime. So, but I would think that because he passed that bodes well for his chances of playing this week.
You ever been more nervous about one play? The two guys went down at the same time. They're obviously very valuable.
Actually, you don't even think about it. You just hope that they're doing okay, and you put the next guys in, and let's go. You don't. Oh, I just worry about their health. I don't. But no, I don't think that nervous really came to mind, to be honest with you.
Watching Love and Heaney play, it looks like they have that linebacker mentality. Are there personalities like that too?
Yeah, well, Love was a little bit of a psycho, that wrestler, and those wrestlers, they all have that little bit of that psycho mentality, And Heaney, we've all seen the same thing. I've seen as the coach, but you've seen as fans, and media that covers him. You've seen him all year long, playing like a wild man on every play. But you had seen it on special teams the year before, so you had already seen him run down and make plays. Now we just put him in a position in the defense to do the same thing, and he's gotten significantly better. I mean, he's significantly better now than what he was at the beginning of the year.
Is the message still the same this week? I mean, I know early on you were pushing, we've got to get a road victory, we've got to get a Big 12 victory, but after each week goes by, do you have to kind of change that up a little bit and find different ways to?
No, it's all about winning. And every week, it's the same thing. It's just about winning that game. We're just trying to win this game. I can't worry about last week's game. I can't worry about next week's game. Only thing I do is worry about this week's game.
I think you said that was as disappointed as they'd been after a game
Me
on
too.
Sunday. Yeah. Did it take longer to shake off, or is that?
It's all the same. Every week, Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
You come in, You go home, feel miserable, go to sleep, don't sleep, wake up in the morning, watch the tape, and let's go. It never changes.
And that's,
Well, I mean, it doesn't change with them either. As disappointed as they are, by the time they leave, it's pretty much out of their system. Now, the one thing they have to do on Monday that I don't have to do, they have to go to class, and good or bad, they have to have the student body say, hey, what happened? How bad are you guys? Or, that was a great effort. Or, so they have to deal with the outside world a lot more than I do. On Monday, my dealing with the outside world is I have to do the Big 12 thing for a couple minutes, and then I have to go hang out with Bob for an hour. That brings some sanity to my day. But other than that, I couldn't tell you what the weather is. Don't really care. I mean, my ops guy the other day bring me the weather report for Monday, and he said, what the hell do I need this for? I mean, what do I care what the weather is on Monday? I mean, it could be anything you want. I don't really care.
is that their ability to do that? I mean, obviously, you've had plenty of years to kind of fine tune that skill, but is their ability to do that something that coaches take for granted, or?
No, I think that how we handle it is how they handle it.
Okay.
I think that if you handled it any differently, like if I prolonged it, they would prolong it. Okay, they would certainly follow my lead. And the coaching staff, they pretty much do what I do. Not that I demand anything, but they're gonna follow your lead. So I think that we're pretty much on the same page. Like, you're coming on Sunday, trust me, what you guys don't realize, it's way worse watching the tape on Sunday than living it on Saturday. Because now you have to watch it again. And you have to watch every little thing that happened. In the game, you kind of know most of the things that happened, but you didn't see every little thing. Like, there might be a play where we run to the right that we gain 10 yards, and the guy on the left-hand side might have turned out and blocked the wrong way. But because you gained 10 yards, no one ever saw it. And you're watching the tape and say, what is he doing? We're running to the right. Where's he going? And believe it or not, that happens more than you would ever imagine. Those things do happen. But you would never see that when you're watching the game, because you're watching the point of attack. You know where the ball's going. I mean, so you're watching kind of the people who are involved in where that play is. So every once in a while, like if we get hit from the backside of a blitz, and I'm watching the front side, normally if I know it's a pass, I'm watching the protection before I watch the route. Okay, but if we get hit, sometimes I'll say, where did he come from? Like they hit that one crisscross blitz down in plus territory, where two guys were come running free up the middle, when I have a Miji running right across the field uncovered for a touchdown. I don't know if you watched that play. I've watched it several times. Okay, but I'm watching them, and I just said, how did two guys get turned free up the middle when we're sliding our protection? I just don't understand that. And you'd be surprised how quiet the phones get when you ask a question like that. There's usually no immediate answer, in case you wonder.
When your Paulus is on the sideline with you and you've got headsets on, who are you talking to up there?
I talked to Blasco, because Blasco, what he does, because I'm the offensive coordinator, I don't ask for a lot of information. I want to know the down and distance and field position. In other words, I want to know, is it on the left middle, is it on the left hash, is it in the middle right hash? It's on the plus 34-yard line, right hash, 2nd and 7. That's what I want to know.
And if he sees something up there that you can't see down there, does he?
He won't say it until after the series is over. We'll talk about when the series is over. So what happens when the series is over, the players come off, Ron will, if the quarterback needs to be talked to, Ron will talk to him, and I'll say, okay, Jeff, what we got? And we'll sit there, we'll run through the whole series. We'll say, here's what they did on every play. So we'll go over what they did on every play. And then I'll say, they did what? And usually things stay true to form. Usually if a team on 3rd down and 2 to 5 plays man coverage, 2 to 5, they usually play man coverage. Usually it's fairly true to form. Usually statistically, when you have a breakdown, it's, you're you're right about 80 to 90% of the time.
We saw Damon and Dwayne split some time at the left guard position. Are we going to expect to see more Damon this week, or is it going to be about the same?
It'll be Orr again, and I think that Tim will handle it just kind of how he did it last week. You know, I think they'll both play the game. I think it was good. It was good for Dwayne, you know, to get pressed by a young guy, and it was good for Damon to play in a game like that and have it not be too big for him.
What does that do to Hawkinson? I mean, he's played with Dwayne so long. Does he have to change
What does it do to who?
Tanner?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, he's not counting on Dwayne. He's telling Dwayne. He's not asking Dwayne. So, you know, really, the left guard position is really is protected pretty well because you got Trevor inside, and Tanner outside. So I mean, the communication there usually, you know, it is pretty good.
How are some of those new guys coming along, specifically Aslam Sterling, and how's he coming along?
Aslam probably has as much, if not more ability than just about anyone we got in the offensive line. Now this week we'll start him at right tackle. Okay, but the problem we have is, you know, he's been. This is a poor day to use roller coaster, as the Seaside Heights roller coaster is in the Jersey Shore right now, but he's had highs and lows. Okay, so there's been times where, you know, physically you'd want him on the field. Okay, but he's got to make sure that, you know, mentally, and I'm not talking about intelligence now. I mean, mentally he stays sharp so that, you know, we don't turn somebody free or have something happen. But right now, when you get the depth chart, if you haven't already, he'll be listed as right tackle, as a starting right tackle.
Has his effort been consistent, or is that been part of that?
No, effort's been great. You know, as a matter of fact, when he goes home at Christmas time, people aren't going to recognize him. He's really changed his body as much as anybody. I mean, he works hard in practice. That has never been an issue. But, you know, staying on top of the game, you know, this is a very cerebral game. You know, for that dumb jock mentality went out a long time ago with football. It's a very cerebral game.
Is it tough for him to kind of adjust with all that losing weight? I mean, how many? About 30 pounds. Is that what he's lost? Something like that.
I think he's loving the fact that he's lost 30 pounds. I think he's feeling very good about himself.
Michaels came into a couple of games in the second half and also started a couple of games. What are your thoughts on what you've seen from him so far?
Who?
Michael Cummings.
Well, I mean, he's starting again this week, so I mean, I obviously think that he's making progress enough. You know, making progress enough where I'm not afraid to put him out there. I mean, you got to give the kid credit for a couple things. Okay, number one, at the end of spring, he didn't look too good. Number two, he hasn't really played in a couple of years. And, you know, he just kept on working and kept on working and kept on working till finally there came a point where, you know, he gave me an option. You know, it wasn't until he gave me an option when I put him in there. I'm not putting him in there because the fans say, let's put him in there. I mean, he's got to give me the reason to believe that we can function well with him in the game. And he's done that. That's why he's in there.
When you're building a program, do you think it takes a breakthrough win to really kick things into overdrive? Are players patient enough to see the kind of incremental steps before you get to that point?
I think a win helps validate all the hard work and effort they've been doing. Because no matter what everyone sees about, you know, games getting closer and improvement and everything, you can't believe you've truly turned a corner until you have something more definite to show from it. So I think that winning is very, very important.